Welcome back to Tarot and Beyond. Today's reading is looking into your North Node placement. So, as some of you may know, if you're interested in astrology, the North and South nodes have just changed signs. So they went from Taurus and Scorpio to Aries and Libra. This marks a very significant change in our dynamics collectively and how we feel. So there's going to be a lot more emphasis on leadership and focus on expansion and individuality, as well as the other side of the equation, which is how we can communicate with one another, how we can find balance, and how we can be diplomatic and work together harmoniously. So we have three options for you to choose from today. We have group number 1, group number 2, and group number 3. Go ahead and make your selection and use the timestamps linked in the description box or pinned in the comments below to jump ahead to your chosen reading or readings. If you do feel called to more than one, just take that as an indication that there are multiple messages scattered throughout the readings, or sometimes all of the readings or multiple of the readings will resonate with you. Take what resonates and leave the rest. Not everything will, and not everything is meant for you, so just use your intuition to be discerning, okay? So we will see you in your readings. All right, hi group number 1, welcome to your North Node reading. Let's take a look at your cards and find out what your North Node is guiding you toward. So the North Node is our destiny. It's essentially who we're here to develop into. So where the South Node is our past experiences, our past lives, the skills we've developed and strengthened, and sometimes the skills that we kind of need to move away from lest we kind of become stagnant. The North Node is the uncomfortable area where we haven't necessarily developed yet. We have to kind of start from scratch. We need to learn something new, and it is our destiny to develop into whatever this is. So let's take a look. You guys have persistence with Luch. He's the sun god. And then you have choose peace. I'm not even going to try and pronounce the names on some of these cards. And then you have spiritual union, which is the 2 of cups. And foundation and achievements. Okay. So it looks like already, just looking at some of the cards here, that your North Node is very much concerned with how you create stability and choose peace within your relationships. You know, part of that is really about what you're able to accomplish and how you're able to stay persistent in working towards your goal. So if your goal is to have a happy, stable family, then it's being persistent in learning how to choose peace in each situation where maybe there's conflict, or maybe there are disagreements, or maybe there's instability in some other way. And it's really up to you in this lifetime to create union within yourself, choosing peace within so that you can approach other people in a very balanced way. And as a result, have this firm foundation that allows you to feel very stable, very secure, and very connected. Let's take a look at your tarot cards. So you have the High Priestess. Wow. Kitty, I don't know if you guys can hear Kitty in the background, but she's meowing, and Kitty is for confirmation. So something to do with the High Priestess, really important here. We have the Page of Wands as well. The 8 of Cups. And the 3 of Pentacles. So most definitely working together with other people is highlighted here. I feel like it's your job, as you know, having this North Node placement, that you are meant to go after what you want. And part of that is what your spirit is guiding you to. So it's almost like you have this intuitive knowing, or this gut feeling of where you need to be, who you need to be with, what you need to be doing. And part of this is about being peaceful within yourself and feeling connected to your intuition, to your higher self, and to the people around you who you love and care for. Now, I'm seeing here that part of your North Node is about the stability of your home, and part of it is about what you can accomplish. So it's kind of like this duality between Aries and Libra, really, when we look at it that way. It's like you and your needs versus the collective and your family and your loved ones. And it's like, how do you find the balance between what your spirit is telling you to do and what you're wanting to move toward or needing to move toward versus what other people are needing from you or expecting of you and what you need from them as well. So the Eight of Cups here is interesting because this is kind of like, the card that signifies walking away from something that's unfulfilling. And you've got the Page of Wands right next to it, which is talking about moving in a new direction, learning something new, being persistent as well. I do see the Page of Wands here really speaking of that Aries energy. And it's interesting because Aries is not always known as the most peaceful energy, right? It's a little bit combative. It's a little bit headstrong. It's stubborn. It's persistent, which is a good thing. But it can also be a little bit self-focused to the detriment of relationships. So I feel like you guys have this sort of duality between what you need and what other people need and what you're kind of striving toward, what your goals are, and how other people kind of factor into that. Maybe they're there to support you. Maybe you have colleagues or you have coworkers or you have a network of people who support you. But I think that part of this is also going to be about your family, and having a stable family is actually going to be a very supportive factor in you achieving and reaching your goals. Now, relationships are part of that, romantic relationships, obviously leading into a healthy family life in that regard. But I feel like there are challenges there, but let's keep going. Let's look at the rest of your cards here. So you have the Five of Swords. Yeah, I was just saying, I feel like there's challenges, and here's the Five of Swords. This is interpersonal challenges, right? Like communication difficulties, ego battles, wanting to win at all costs, and having people be at odds with each other. You also have the Four of Swords, which is about peace. This is choosing peace. It's finding a way to reconnect to yourself and in a calm, peaceful environment, for lack of a better word, so that you can connect to yourself and find out where these triggers are coming from. I feel like part of your destiny here with the North Node changing signs is really about finding a way to identify your triggers. It's like looking at your triggers and how you respond to your family, your friends, your loved ones, and maybe even at a larger scale, the outside world in general, in regard to kind of what these triggers actually mean to you, like what is causing you to feel this way, or what is disturbing your peace or disrupting your natural flow or your natural drive toward what you want to accomplish or achieve. If there's anything that is kind of blocking that persistence, if there are naysayers, if there are people who are telling you you shouldn't do it, if there's negativity in any way, or just conflict or like conflicting belief systems, I feel like part of your North Node is developing internal peace within you so that you can meet those dynamics more compassionately or more directly in some way here, so that they're not going to kind of infiltrate your mind. It's like you can have a sense of clarity and peace within yourself so that no matter what happens outside of you, you're able to maintain that equilibrium. And as a byproduct of that, you have better relationships in romance and in family and in work, because you are stable within yourself. You're able to stay within that peace no matter what happens. Okay. You have the High Priestess again. No way. What? You have the High Priestess twice. Group number one. So this tells me that you are destined in this lifetime to be a high priestess, whether you're male or female. This is very much about your psychic awareness, your spiritual development, and I just heard advancement as well. So your spiritual accomplishments, your spiritual achievements, and we did have the spiritual union card. So this could have, your destiny could be in relation to a divine counterpart as well. This could be like a very significant soulmate relationship or twin flame dynamic that you are here to essentially be this higher version of you. You're here to embody your higher self. Now that does take persistence, right? That really, really does take persistence. You have to challenge the ego a lot. You have to not even challenge, you just have to work with the ego to be able to make sure that it's not kind of taking you for a ride or getting itself into the driver's seat. And it's interesting because I always explain it like this, like there's sort of three major parts to us. Really, there's infinite fractals within us, but there's three major parts that I like to identify. The first one is the ego. The second one is the self, and the third one is the higher self. We also have the inner child, the adolescent, and all other layers of past selves. But let's just simplify it and break it down to those three aspects: the ego, the self, and the higher self. What the difference is the ego is like the operating system that we come into. It's our identity and our sense of self, and it's fairly limited. It's not connected to the others in the same way that the higher self and the self are connected, and so it can often feel left out, less than, or disempowered. The ego does tend to fear, and because it's finite, it fears its own mortality. Now, the self is like the observer. It is the version of self that is in the moment, in the present moment, that can choose peace or can choose chaos. It's really up to the self what it wants to do. But it can consult the ego, or the ego can rule the self, depending on what the dynamics are. Then you have the higher self, which is the version of you that has completed everything in your spiritual development and is essentially you in the future, and has turned around to kind of try to help you through your process of development, right? Because that's the most loving thing you can do, is turn around and go, okay, now that I've completed all of this and I understand it, I'm going to try and help myself in the past, because soul exists outside of time and space, to move through these lessons more gracefully. So it's being able to work with those three in tandem. And I think that's why the Three of Pentacles is here as well, and achievement and foundations and achievements. I feel like part of you balancing this trinity within you, really, the self, the ego, and the higher self, is going to help you to achieve this foundation, not just spiritually, but I think physically as well. So, having a stable home and work and family and a sense of self that is very grounded and peaceful and adaptive, as I just heard the word adaptive as well. So being able to adapt to challenges, being able to overcome, being very sort of malleable in that sense, that you're not rigid, you're not limiting yourself, and you're not restricting in any way. You're free to explore, you're free to expand, and you're free to choose what's going to bring the most peace and alignment in your life at any given moment. Wow, you have the Strength card. So really, like, the strength that you are developing here with this new North Node shift into Aries is the strength of will to choose peace. And that is very hard to do. It takes a lot of willpower to not allow yourself to succumb to fear or doubt or drama in any way, right? Or ego triggers or ego battles or things like that. It's like choosing to tap into your soul, choosing to tap into and listen to your higher self, choosing to address the ego with compassion, choosing just to observe. Very, very challenging, very hard to do. But I feel like this is part of the spiritual strength you're developing through this North Node transit and beyond. I feel like this is much more than just this particular North Node transit through Aries, but I really just get the sense that it's going to expand that, or it's going to make it more obvious so that you can really learn and practice regularly and be persistent with your capacity to have grace. So grace is kind of like softness. It's the softness that is the strength here. It's being able to choose this peaceful state where you can just rest instead of having to kind of go head to head with people or push yourself too hard past your limits. It's really kind of like listening to yourself and being able to remain calm. I'm seeing that poster, keep calm and carry on, in my mind's eye. So it's kind of like this phase is really going to challenge you to remain calm amidst any kind of upheaval that comes your way. And this relates to your intuition, your psychic abilities, your ability to see beyond what is readily available in front of you. Again, I'm seeing the third eye here in this card, and you have two high priestesses. So this is very much about your psychic awareness and your ability to intuit what to do next. So that might look like, somebody challenging you or coming at you in a conflicting or dramatic way. Maybe they're triggered and you have to choose to respond in a peaceful way. So that might be looking through that third eye and seeing more clearly why this person is approaching you in this way or coming at you with this emotion behind what they're saying or doing. So that might look like you saying to yourself, okay, I can understand that this person may be feeling this because. It's getting a little bit inquisitive and curious and using your intuition to guide you to the solution or to the understanding, rather. It's not even about the solution. It's more just about the understanding so that you can have grace in that moment for yourself and also for the other person. I feel like that is going to be the most foundational achievement that you guys are going to be developing in this phase, where you are really focused on the truth. You are really focused on how you approach relationships, how you approach interpersonal dynamics, while at the same time being very aware of what you need, what you require, what is going to help to serve you and your alignment. So you're not going to be giving up your own alignment to placate others. You know, it's like you're not going to just pretend to be peaceful to calm this other person down. It's like you're genuinely going to be choosing peace for yourself. And as a result, it diffuses the situation, because if you choose to be peaceful and they're coming at you with battle energy, like attack energy, it takes two to tango, right? And so they have nothing to go on. And if you're coming at it with this awareness or this curiosity or this seeking to understand why they're behaving or responding in that way or reacting in that way, again, it just diffuses the situation entirely, because the core need of anybody being triggered or wanting to attack or coming from that aggressive energy is always from a place of wounding. Whether it's a lack of control of themselves, so they try to control others, or whether it's fear and doubt within themselves, and so they question others, or whether it's anger and aggression at their own self-neglect, and so they aggressively attack others, whatever it happens to be. Anytime someone is lashing out, they're in pain. Anytime. And it takes a lot of grace and awareness and truth to be able to see that and to forgive them in that moment, not allowing that treatment. You can set firm, rigid boundaries, but honoring and accepting that is coming from a place of pain, and you choosing to be in peace with yourself so that you don't get pulled into the pain, so that you have a firm foundation to stand on and are able to choose how you approach the situation, what energy you give to it, or allow it to take from you. I see you being very persistent in achieving this goal of peace, and how that positively impacts all of your relationships going forward from here, everything. It's going to require you to choose yourself more often than not, but that's going to help you to be more equitable with other people, more able to actually show up for other people in the way that they need, because you're coming from a place of stability within yourself. That's the strength. I feel like you're also going to be called to rest, meditate, and be persistent, especially if you're wanting to develop your third eye more directly. It does take persistence. It takes time. It takes a lot of meditation. It takes a lot of self-awareness and self-development work. It takes a lot of grounding and changing your environment and your actions to be more in alignment with your own truth. That's something that not a lot of people talk about, and I'm going to be diving more into this concept in one of the next readings coming up. We're going to be looking at third eye awakenings, but really when it comes to awakening the third eye, it's not just about meditating and focusing on that chakra. It's also about, are you aligned with your truth at soul level? Are you seeing the highest truth? Can you allow yourself to choose peace, which is that highest truth, or rather really love is the highest truth, in my opinion, because love transcends duality. And I see this North Node transit for you, group number 1, really helping you to strengthen your resolve in regard to what is true for you, and standing very, very firmly in that truth, despite anything that is projected toward you or anything that you are striving toward as well. It's like not letting yourself lose your truth in the process of striving, and also not losing your truth in the sort of face of projections of other people. So it's like you're keeping your truth very balanced, in both directions. And that, yeah, again, it takes a lot of strength to do that. But that's what you're developing. That's what you're working toward. Okay, let's get some final messages from the Astro Dice for you, group number 1. So you have you have Jupiter in Sagittarius in the 10th house. Wow, okay. Whew. So Jupiter is the planet of expansion, and it rules Sagittarius. And this is all about philosophy, learning, travel, beliefs, experience. The 10th house is to do with your career, your public image, your notoriety, how you're viewed in the world, and your achievements and accomplishments too. So I feel like you're going to get a lot of expansion in regard to your career as this North Node transit is going through Aries. I feel like the influence of Jupiter here is really going to strengthen and expand your psychic abilities. That it's going to change your belief systems, and it may involve travel, because you do have the Page of Wands here too, and the Eight of Cups. So you may be walking away from something or traveling towards something else. And it's definitely connected to your career, your sense of purpose. If you're not working or something like that, it's just kind of like what you feel passionate about, what you're working toward, and how the world sees you as well. I feel like you're going to go through a really big phase of self-development here, like very, very powerful self-development. And it's going to result in something really beautiful, a very stable home, very stable relationships, and ultimately the relationship with yourselves, I should say, right? Like the ego, the self, and the higher self. The relationship between the three of you is going to be more harmonious than it was before. And that's the peace that you've really been seeking, and that you're going to achieve through this quest, because that's what I'm seeing with Jupiter and Sagittarius. It's like a quest, and it's like the main quest. You know, when we're looking at the 10th house, this isn't a side quest. This is like the main quest, the major plot line. This is the main character arc. So yeah, you are developing a lot of strength here through peace of mind and higher truth. So that's what I see for you, group number 1. I hope that this supported you in this transit and gave you some clarity as to what you may be working on or developing into. And stay tuned for the upcoming readings regarding the third eye and a whole bunch of other fun stuff as well. And if you guys are interested in having any one-on-one readings with me, I'm not taking personal clients, but I will be doing live readings on the members only channel. So the Soul Tribe or the Soul Family memberships will give you access to the live readings that we're going to be doing. There's one upcoming on Saturday, July 22nd at 3 p.m. PST. So if you're watching this video before that time and you want to tune in, then you just have to hit the join button and select your tier. Okay, so that is what I have for you today. Thanks so much for being here, guys. We'll see you in the next reading. Bye. All right, hi group number 2. Welcome to your North Node reading. So the North Node is to do with your destiny. It is your self-development in this lifetime. It's something you've never really done before in this way. And the South Node is the past things that you've learned, the skills that you've developed. And it's really like your comfort zone. Sometimes we can get stuck in the South Node, but in this North Node reading, we're going to be looking at what you're developing into, what skills you're learning or practicing, and maybe even how to do that along the way. So let's take a look at your cards. We're going to start with the Oracle. So you have Meditate, Siddhartha Gautama Buddha. This has been coming up for me. It's interesting that Buddha's here. Okay, anyway, you have artistic expression, Paul the Venetian. Wow, it's an interesting combination. You have material and spiritual prosperity. Very interesting. I'm seeing like the duality or the balance between the material and the spiritual, even in these two cards. And then this one really just confirming that. And then you have light. Okay, wow. This is a really powerful North Node that you guys have. Like you're developing something pretty major here in regard to your creative abilities and your spiritual embodiment. Okay, so let's take a look at your tarot cards. You have the Strength card. Group number 1 had this as well, and it was really powerful. I'm interested to see what it is in the context of your reading. So you also have the Page of Cups. All right. Knight of Swords. And the Star card. Wow. Okay. So this is really, this is really beautiful. This reading is mind-blowing already. So your North Node, group number 1, we've got more cards. I just want to talk about these first. Your North Node, sorry, group number 2. Your North Node, group number 2, is really powerful in your ability to regenerate and heal. I definitely see that you're an artist. I think part of your North Node development is having the strength to be able to tune in, to listen to your imagination and be able to express that. It may be through communication. It may be through healing of some kind. You know, artistic expressions are not always in the forms that we think that they are. I think some of it can also be about, you know, how you create or cultivate your reality, or how you even just like how you present yourself for whatever reason that is coming through. Like I'm noticing all the characters in the cards here. And the North Node being in Aries is very much about the self. So I feel like this is kind of like how you express yourself, how you dress, how you style your hair, how you walk, how you talk. Like those kinds of things are going to be something to focus on over the course of this transit. And I get the sense that there's going to be like a new sort of image, like a new public image, or a new way that you're presenting yourself. And I feel like it is more authentic. I feel like you've really kind of done some internal work. You've meditated. You've found a level of connection to the inner realms that has resulted in some major healing for you. And now you're actually being a little bit more vulnerable. Like with the Star card here, she's naked. I should probably actually cover that up. With the Star card, she's naked. And this talks to me of vulnerability and authenticity, right? It's like not having anything covering you up. And the Page of Cups speaks of this as well. Like he's wears his heart on his sleeve kind of guy. He's very open, emotional, sensitive, artistic as well. And so I feel like part of this North Node transit for you is going to be about how you present yourself and how you really show up in the world. And part of that is also an artistic expression. So it's like how you're able to view life through this lens of art. What does that mean for you? Does it mean that, you know, if you're a writer, do you kind of see a scene and start describing it in your head? Like I do that sometimes because I'm a writer. So I'll be standing outside and I'll be like, the beautiful golden beams of light gently grazed her skin. Like, you know, I'll start going off and like creating this narrative of what I'm seeing or experiencing or, you know, connecting to. Is this like you seeing a landscape or something that really just sparks your creativity and you can see it through the eyes of an artist? Even if you don't make anything out of it, you can, it's like I'm seeing you view the world through an artist's eyes. And that is really beautiful. That's really beautiful. I feel like you're doing some healing in this North Node transit. I think maybe you have repressed this artistic expression or this artistic viewpoint. Maybe you were so focused on what you needed to do to create financial prosperity for yourself that you kind of neglected your artistic nature. Or it could be that you kind of focused too much on what other people thought of you, or you just felt too vulnerable to be able to show up in the world in that authentic way. I'm not sure what it is, but it feels like there was resistance, or there was a block there before, that's kind of falling away. It's like you're having the strength to kind of let that go and to connect to a much more authentic version of you. And it is an authentic version. It's one that's always been there at the core of you, but it was kind of like layered with all of these different things. And it's funny because what they're showing me in my mind's eye is somebody who's wearing like a million different layers of clothes. And it's like they could be like this tiny person underneath, but they're wearing like 15 shirts and a parka and snowsuit and things like that. And so they look huge. And it's like, where are you in all of that? You know what I mean? And I feel like you're kind of stripping away all these layers and these superfluous things about yourself in this transit. It's like you're really cutting to the quick here in regard to what's the truth and what is the real you. And as a result, you're seeing yourself more clearly, I think, for the first time in a long time. And this may be a little uncomfortable, right? You might feel a little vulnerable in that. And that's why it does take strength. And it can be helpful to meditate, to connect to yourself in this way, to honor this unfolding, because I feel like you guys are really like breaking out of a shell, or you're shedding layers, or it's like the snake shedding its skin. It's like it's a little uncomfortable, but it's freeing in the same sense. And it's through that expression of yourself that you'll start to see the world more truthfully as well. Like you're going to see the art and the beauty in everything. That's really what I feel here. You have the Eight of Pentacles. Okay. You have the Three of Wands. I'm getting entrepreneur from these two cards, and especially with the Eight of Pentacles here, looking like he's making something, or he's crafting something. I feel like you may be stepping into some kind of an artistic endeavor of some description, and that may be something that you then start doing professionally, or as a career. Okay. Wow. Yeah. Ace of Pentacles. It's a new project for sure. You'll be starting a new project in this North Node transit. That's what your North Node is really guiding you toward. You're meant to be developing your artistic expression and your creativity. So, whether it's like, oh, wow, and the world, and you're meant to be showing it and sharing it with the world. I'm getting like you guys are the artist group for sure. So, like you see the world through this beauty, this lens of profound depth. Like you are deep, deep thinkers and feelers. And that is what allows you to tap into these more subtle layers of reality and to see the beauty and the depth that lies within that, and to create something out of that. Like you are the painters, you are the writers, you are the sculptors, you are the Michelangelos and the Da Vinci's and the, like Picasso. You guys are like maybe seen a little bit as a sensitive or an eccentric, or somebody who is a little bit different than the rest of the world. And I think maybe some of those layers were put in place by you or by others to try and protect yourself. And now it's like this North Node transit is calling you to shed those layers so that you can really just be yourself and develop the strength to be able to show up in the world in this way that's very authentic, truthful, and aligned, and to no longer let the outside world tell you that that's wrong. It's like being your sensitive self, wearing your heart on your sleeve, being an artist, seeing the world through that lens and expressing it and creating something out of it. I do see that, you'll most likely be starting a project or continuing a project through this North Node transit, and you'll most likely be wanting to share that with the world in some way, whether it's creating a shop or a brick and mortar store, or whether it's publishing something or sharing your art in a gallery. Maybe it is, I do see you selling. So, with the Eight of Pentacles and the Three of Wands here, this talks to me of merchant energy, master craftsman and merchant. So, and the world is, obviously the world, and the Ace of Pentacles is like the exchange of money for this art. So this North Node transit could be calling you into a position where you are, you're expressing your art, you're sharing your art, and you're getting a return on that, because spiritual and material prosperity is here on the table, right? So this is a spiritual prosperity because it's aligned with your authenticity, and it's bringing material prosperity because when you're in alignment, you attract what you need. And even more than that, you can even attract what you want, right? So when you're in alignment, there's no limit to what you can create. It's when you're not in alignment that there's blocks in the road, or that there's, mishaps and challenges and pitfalls and things like that. And that doesn't mean that you can't have those things when you are in alignment. I think that does and can happen. But it's more showing you the dissonance of where there are things that are still out of alignment. When you're fully, fully, fully in alignment, everything just kind of falls away. And no matter what happens, you're able to traverse it in complete gratitude. That's what I'm seeing here, is that no matter what happens, if you're in alignment, you're just like, thank you. I needed that. Even if it was something challenging, you're like, thank you, I needed that. Thank you, that helped me grow. Thank you, God, that gave me a greater sense of myself. And that is something I can transform into art. Thank you for the inspiration. Thank you for the experience. It's like I just feel this deep, deep, profound sense of gratitude once you come into this state of acceptance and awareness of yourself. It's like you're letting yourself just be free to be you. And as a result of that, to create, because you're a creator. We're all creators, but like when you really, really refine that skill, oh, wow, it is beautiful and so profound. And that's what I'm seeing this North Node transit bring for you guys, is this development of your creatorship, both manifestation-wise and also artistic expression, and how that translates to the way the world sees you, the way that you show up in the world, and how you feel amazing being able to create and share what's in your heart. Sorry, I just realized those cards were kind of cut off at the bottom there. So I just moved those things up a bit. So group number 2, I really get the sense that this North Node transit is calling you out of your shell. Like if you've been hiding under layers and layers of different aspects of yourself, or, how you felt like you needed to show up in the world to be accepted, I feel like this North Node transit is really going to kind of call you into the unknown in regard to what is really wild and wacky and more authentic to you. Because they're even in this card here with the world, it's like she looks like Alice in Wonderland. So it's like you're going to be going down the rabbit hole a bit here, and you're going to be finding yourself down there. So you're going to be asking this question a lot, I think, during this transit. Who am I? I think that's going to be like the main theme of this transit for you. You're going to be asking, who am I? And what do I want to create as a result of that? Who am I, and what does that version of me create in the world? Am I a master craftsman? And if so, what kind? And how does this creation of mine benefit the world? How does this help people? How does it help me? Does it make me feel empowered? Does it make me feel abundant because I enjoy doing this, and it brings me joy because other people enjoy receiving it? Does it make me feel a sense of satisfaction and fulfillment when I can see my vision come into reality in a physical, tangible way? Does it give me a sense of gratitude? Does it give me a sense of gratification? When I send my ships out into the world, how does that make me feel when I see them returning laden with income? Like, I feel like if you're putting something up for sale, it's going to sell. If you are, publishing something, it's going to be successful. If you are painting something, it's going to be bought and sold. It's like these types of things that I really see people wanting to invest in you because they want what you create. And it's very unique to you. That's what I mean. Like, nobody else can create that. You might think that the market is saturated, but let me tell you, from what I'm feeling here from this reading and what I'm getting from Spirit, you are meant to be doing this, so no one else can do it like you. Like, The example that's coming up is like, would Harry Potter be Harry Potter if it was written by anyone else other than J.K. Rowling? No, it wouldn't. She's the only one who could write Harry Potter. And that's why she's the only one who did. And I feel like this is kind of what I'm feeling in your reading group number 2, is that you're the only one who can do this thing, whatever it is, or create this thing, because it's part of you. It's like your expression that makes it what it's going to be, or what it needs to be. And it's destined to be, because the North Node is destiny, right? So this is really about you developing the skill to be able to bring this into the world, to birth this, to create whatever this is, to tap into your artistic self and to be vulnerable and to do this thing and make it happen. I feel like part of this is going to be about you just building your confidence, because the more confident you are, the more likely you are to be authentic and to tap into that inner knowing. I also feel like the confidence is going to help you to have the strength to put yourself out there in this way, like to make this public, or to master this art or this craft, or to put it up for sale, something like that. It's like, it takes confidence. You just got to have the audacity, like you've just got to really have faith in yourself here and trust that inner calling, because the destiny is calling you, like destiny is calling, right? So yeah, and it's there for a reason. You're meant to be developing into this very creative, artistic, feeling-oriented person who creates. That's what you're here to be. Now let's grab the Astro Dice for you, group number 2. Get some final closing messages. So you have the Sun in that's Virgo in the 10th house. That's funny. Group number 1 had the 10th house as well. So both of you guys are really focused on career here. The Sun is your sense of self, and I'm pretty sure that light in this deck is the Sun card. So you do have the Sun and the Star, they're both luminaries. So I feel like there's something here to do with, your awareness, your sense of self, your public persona, really, because the Sun is your sense of self. It is your identity. It's also your physical body. But and that's what I was getting in the beginning of this reading. I totally forgot about that. As I channel, I forget. And so they're kind of reminding me that, remember, we were talking about the like physical persona and how you present yourself, how you dress, how you look, how you carry yourself. And so your sense of self is really developing into this new, more authentic version of you over the course of this transit and beyond. It's not just this transit, it's your whole entire North Node journey in this lifetime. But I'm pretty sure that this is Virgo. Let me just find, that's Scorpio, so that's Virgo. Okay, so Virgo here really talking about the body doing health and healing as well. So you might be going through some kind of a physical health change too, like in a positive way, having the strength to heal something and to regenerate yourself. Like maybe you were, the example that's coming up is like, maybe you were chronically dehydrated and you started to notice like your skin was getting a little bit wrinkly or, a bit saggy or something like that. And through this transit, you're like really hydrating yourself. You're using a lot of creams and moisturizers. You're drinking a ton of water. You're eating fresh fruits and vegetables like all day, every day. And you start to notice this radiant glow. And as an awesome side benefit to that, you also have a depth of thought and mind and emotion that you didn't before, because you're more clear, your physical needs are met, and then you're able to create based on that. Like you can start to build on that foundation because it's stable. And the 10th house, like I said, this is going to be something that you're doing in regard to your career, your public notoriety, your like how you show up in the world, your purpose. And that's what I was seeing here with these 4 cards. And that's what the 10th house is talking about too. Like you're creating something that other people really want. And it's based off of you and your vision and your your way of seeing the world is kind of what I'm getting from this. And as a result, it's very sought after. People want it, and they are coming to you, offering you money to, teach them how to do it, or to buy this thing off of you, or to, to invest in what you've created. So that's really what I'm seeing here for you, group number 2. This is fantastic. Like I said, super, super powerful North Node transit for you guys and overall development into this very, very authentic, artistic, imaginative, self-expressive, and like very business-minded individual. So you're just balancing spirituality and physical abundance in the most beautiful, beautiful way. So that is what I see for you, group number 2. This is looking like a very powerful, powerful transit for you guys to develop yourself and to become the artist that you have always been within. So that is what I have for you guys today. If you guys are interested in working with me one-on-one, I'm not taking personal clients, but the only way to do it is going to be through the members only live streams that we're going to be doing. So there is one coming up on Saturday, the 22nd of July. If you guys are watching this before that date, you can still join by becoming a member of either the Soul Tribe or the Soul Family tier of the memberships. So that will give you access to the live stream where I'm going to be pulling cards on camera live for you guys and answering your questions, giving you guidance and things like that. It will also give you access to the members only readings and the discounts as well if you're going for the Soul Family one. All right, so thank you so much for being here, guys. I greatly appreciate that. I love you, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye. All right, hi group number 3, welcome to your North Node reading. So the North Node is really about your destiny. It's what you're developing into in this lifetime. And the South Node is your past experiences, your past skills and knowledge. And sometimes it's kind of like your comfort zone, and it can kind of keep you stuck if you don't continue to develop. So we're going to look at the North Node traits or skills or path that you're developing into in this lifetime, as well as, specifically through this transit of the North Node being in Aries. So you have balancing career and home life with Isis. It's a beautiful card. You have taking charge of this situation, Moses. This card keeps showing face, like in many different readings, it's shown up. Okay, you have the fulfillment of wishes. Wow. Okay. And the authority card in reverse. Okay. So before we look at your tarot, I just kind of want to tune into these cards and get a sense of what initially may be happening here in your North Node transit. Oh, okay. You're meant to be stepping into a leadership position, group number 3. And you're meant to be challenging authority. So like this could be a boss, it could be a parent, it could be somebody in a position of power, it could be government, it could be something like that, where somebody has power over you in some way. And part of this transit and what you're developing is being able to like take charge of yourself and your own destiny. Because that's what the North Node is, it's destiny. But I feel like you're actually like stepping up in a new way in regard to how this looks in your home life, how this looks in your career, how this looks in like how you interact with like social structures and things like that, where the authorities are. I feel like, this is really changing how you show up in regard to your own personal power. It's like by stepping into your own power, you're able to become the authority figure in a situation where once you were like on the other side of it, right? Like you felt disempowered, you felt like a servant or a slave or something like that. And now it's kind of like you're stepping into your leadership of your own life and learning to create some balance therein. But it's going to fulfill these wishes for you to feel like you can create your own destiny. That's really what I keep getting here, is like you are going to be creating your own destiny. Let's look at your tarot cards. The Queen of Wands. Yeah, exactly. She's the ruler of house and home. She is the nurturer, the healer, the creator. She's very growth oriented, but she's a queen, so she is in a position of leadership and power. She's not subservient to anyone else. She's just focused on her goals and what makes sense for her and for the people she cares about, or for, like what matters to her in her life. You have the 9 of Swords. You are getting yourself out of some stressful situations where you felt at the whim of other people or another person. It could just be one person, but I feel like there was a lot of stress around this dynamic of I can't choose for myself, and as a result, I'm stuck. And as a result, I'm stressed. And then, my wishes are not coming true, and I don't feel creative and inspired and powerful. And there's just an imbalance, It's like maybe your boss was being really harsh with you at work, and, you're feeling good and solid in your home front, but at work, you're just feeling like a pawn, or just being like used or abused or kicked around, like not getting paid enough, or not getting the accommodations you need, or not getting the, what's the word I'm looking for here? Like the recognition from your boss if you're doing a lot of good work, something like that. And it's like you may be getting a promotion through this transit, or you may be coming into more of a position of leadership in another way, like maybe entrepreneurship, or maybe you're stepping into a larger role at home. Like if you're a dual parent, maybe you're becoming, no, like that's not a good example. Like if you are, I don't know. It's like if you only had like custody sometimes, like now you're getting full custody, or if you of your kids or something like that, or if you don't have kids but you want them, maybe it's like you have kids and now you're stepping into that leadership position of being a mom or a dad. I don't know. It's just I just get this feeling of like stepping into a position of leadership where you are in charge of something. You have the 9 of Cups. I think this one is the 9 of Cups as well. It's either the 9 of Cups or the 9 of Pentacles. I can't remember, and I don't feel like checking. But yeah, it's like this similar energy here, and you've got 2 9s back to back too. So 3 9s, right? Because it's actually these 3. Yeah, wow. Okay, so 999 is a big sign that you're ending something. That's like closure. So if you're seeing 999, that means you're ending a chapter in your life, and you're ending a lesson, is what Spirit just told me. Oh, that's interesting, because I literally saw 999 3 times today. This is actually the 4th time, or this is the 3rd time. I can't remember. Anyway, so you're closing out a chapter, you're ending a cycle, you're finishing a lesson. And part of this lesson, I think, is you really being able to take charge of your own mind and your own destiny and your own life by being the leader. And maybe it's not even to do with a boss or a family or anything like that. Maybe it's just you being in charge of your own mind and your own thoughts and your own happiness. And you know what I'm seeing here with the 9 of Cups is that meme of the little guy with the jar of happiness, and someone comes over to him and asks him like, oh, hey, where'd you get that? And he's like, I made it myself. And it's such a sweet little meme. I love that one. And I feel like you guys are really taking charge of your own happiness, your own sense of fulfillment. And it's like you're going after what you want. I feel like that's the leadership too, right? Like North Node in Aries, it's all about leadership and forward movement and self-direction, and being in that position where you're not going to let anybody hold you back. You're just going to do what feels right for you. And I feel like part of that is going to be in how you show up in these many different areas of your life, right? Like you might become more influential in your career, or you might become more of a leader in your home life. And it's like in all areas, you're just going to be showing up in a different, more powerful way. Yeah. You have the Hermit here. This is another 9. Wow. Holy cow. 9999. You can't make this stuff up. Like, you guys, this is the ending of something huge. Like, this has been a very long chapter of disempowerment. And I just got the word instability as well. So you might have felt very unstable in the past. Like maybe you were trying to figure out how to balance your home life and your career. Like maybe you worked so much that your home life fell apart, or you focused so much on your home life that your career wasn't, shaping up the way that you had intended. So it's like finding a balance between these things and creating stability is how you're closing out this major chapter of your life. Like you're taking charge, you're putting it, you're putting it into, I don't know why I'm getting I was going to say something else, but the phrase that's coming to mind is like you're putting yourself through your paces. Is that what that is, Spirit? You're putting other people through their paces. It's kind of like, oh, right. Because if you're stepping into a leadership position, then you're kind of challenging other people to show up differently too. And if you're in that leadership position, that means that, like you are directing other people. So like, let's say you get a promotion at work, or you become an entrepreneur or something like that, and you have other people working for you. Well, putting other people through their paces would literally be like, this is what I expect of you. This is what the job entails. And I want it by this time. And I want it to look in this way. So it's like, that's the leadership position where you kind of have to be a little bit more, not strict, but like a little bit more rigid, in that sense that you're not demanding, but you're creating that structure, and for everything to flow smoothly, things need to operate within that. So like if it's with your kids, then you're saying, you guys have to be home by this time, you have these chores, this is family time, this is free time, school work needs to be done by this, it's like creating a structure. That's kind of what I'm sensing here, is like you're creating a structure of some kind that gives you a greater sense of fulfillment and peace, and really, alleviates a lot of the stress from the chaos and the dysfunction of things being out of balance. Okay. You have the Queen of Cups. So you have two queens in your reading here. So really emphasizing the feminine energy, whether you're male or female. The feminine is just really about feeling, receiving, intuiting. Healing is a big energy that I'm getting from both of these cards. I did mention that before, and I'm pretty sure Isis is about healing too. So you're doing some pretty major healing in some way, maybe of your relationship to power and authority figures. Maybe you're doing some healing in regard to your original authority figures, which is like your parents. Those are like the original authority figures. Those are the first authority that we experience when we come into this world, is our parents. The second is probably like teachers, maybe even babysitters. We could factor that in. Doctors, police, as we go through life, there's varying degrees of different authority figures in our lives, bosses, government, all of that. So I really feel like you are healing something very specific in regard to authority, like the archetype of authority. It doesn't have to be in regard to any one particular person or group of people. It's just the archetype of authority and how you relate to leadership and authority, how you feel confident to be able to take charge, or maybe not, and healing some of the false beliefs or wounds around being in a position of power or leadership. You have the Knight of Cups, the King of Wands. You have the King and Queen of Wands. So these two really both talking about leadership here. And especially since you have the two of them, which are counterparts, this does lead me to believe that this is something to do with your family and your work life. We already obviously have that card here, but I feel like this is like how you and your partner, business partner or romantic partner, life partner are able to create harmony and like cooperate to lead. It's like there's more balance. You're working toward a common goal. You're on the same page. If this is you and your work colleagues or your work team or environment, it's like, again, you're on the same page. You're cohesive. Things are flowing smoothly. There's understanding. And there's mutual respect. Like respect is really important here, because that's what's going to give you that sense of fulfillment and that like personal power to be able to create your own happiness. Like you are determining your own success here in a really big way. And it's because you're respecting yourself, you're demanding respect from others, and other people are respecting you because you're respecting yourself. You know what I mean? It's like, it just kind of goes around in a circle like that. And you have the Six of Swords. So you're moving away from the stress, the strife, and this particular Six of Swords always reminds me of the Death card because of all the crows in it. And since you have so many nines in your reading, this is you moving away and letting something die. It's like the disempowered version of you, or the chaotic version of you, or like the version of you that was at the whim or the will of other people or authority figures. And now you're like, this is what makes me happy. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going after it. I'm going to create that. And I'm going to collaborate and team up with the people who are going to help me achieve that. So whether it's like having a team that works under you, or having a partner who works with you, or having a home life or a family life that's supportive of your career goals. It's like both things need to play into each other. The career needs to support the family and home life, and the home life needs to support the career. And it's like having those two things in harmony and having those dynamics really balanced out through this transit and beyond is going to help you to develop into the version of you that is capable of sustaining this personal power and this position of leadership. Really, that's what I see here, like in a really big way. You are meant to be a leader in some shape or form. I just got teacher, so maybe one person here is a teacher. That's very specific. That's not going to resonate with everybody, but I just saw somebody up in front of a chalkboard. So somebody may be a teacher here, literally, like a school teacher. But it's like there's something to do with authority. This could be an authority figure. Like if you're a teacher, this would be like the principal of the school, or the dean, or the school board, or something like that. If you are working in a corporate job, then it would be like the CEO or your boss or your manager or something like that. Whatever it happens to be. You're taking charge of this situation. You are creating a way for yourself. You're moving from like the stress and the worry of not being in charge to being in charge and feeling really confident in that. And I think part of this North Node is going to challenge you to look at, again, we already talked about this, but they're bringing it back up. So they really want to drive this home. Spirit's like emphasizing this really heavily, that you are meant to be looking at and diving into and getting curious about your past experiences with authority and how they have tainted or shaped your idea of what power looks like, and unpacking some of the distorted versions or viewpoints of that so that you can actually step into your leadership position that's going to be very empowering to you and very supportive and empowering to other people. That's what's ideal here, and that's what's meant to happen. You are not meant to be in a position of authority so that you can abuse it, and that's why they're asking you to look at these things so that you can feel confident stepping into it and trust yourself. Now, I'm not saying that you would abuse your power. What I'm trying to say here is that you fear power on some level, or you may fear your power on some level, and that's why is because you've seen examples of other people misuse it. And I do not on any level believe that you would misuse it, but I think that there's a part of your subconscious mind that fears that you will. But you won't, group 3. You won't. Like, you are meant and you're destined for this position of leadership and power. You're meant to be in this role. You're destined for this, but I think maybe in past lives you've kind of played small and stayed in that role of like letting somebody else take the lead, you know, like, oh, someone else will do it. Or I'll just wait until somebody tells me what to do. Or, oh, this person's telling me I should do this and I don't really want to question it, so I'll just do that. You know, and in this lifetime, and specifically in this transit, you being called to really step up and ask yourself, why did I let myself be led this way? And what part of me fears my own power? Because that was the really only reason why you may have stayed in positions or environments or relationships even that were disempowering or just weren't really super aligned with you being the leader of your own life or even of your own mind, because on some level subconsciously there was fear around the misuse of power, or even just like the responsibility, really, because with power comes responsibility. And so even if that's just being in charge of your own thoughts, it's like we have to be accountable to the fact that I have to control my thoughts. Like, if I'm thinking negatively, I'm going to create that. That's a big responsibility. And just having that awareness kind of not forces you, but it kind of puts it right in your face that like you have to deal with this. You know, no one else is going to fix it for you. It's on you. And whatever you create is, you know, it's on you. And it's the same thing in the larger sense of like career and home life. And I think sometimes stepping into a leadership position can feel scary for a lot of people because it does come with a lot of responsibility. Other people are relying on you. You have to make decisions. You have to be the one who calls the shots. You have to be on the ball, and I think that can be something to look at as well through this transit. Where do you fear the responsibility of being in this position, and what is that going to entail? But I really see a lot of satisfaction and fulfillment here for you guys, like emotionally and creatively and spiritually. I see a lot of fulfillment and gratification here. So I think it's definitely going to be worth it. There's a reason that this is your North Node energy, right? Like it's something that your soul destined for you. It's something that you set up pre-incarnation, that you wanted to develop into. You've set that on paper, this is what I'm going to be working on in this lifetime. And you put that in your natal chart. So this is something to explore and to get curious with so that you can feel more confident when the time comes to really step up. Because it will. I can tell you that right away. Like it will. The time is coming. It's probably already here. So, it's just how you feel about it. You might already be in a leadership position, but it's like you might be leveling it up in some way, or you might be freeing yourself from any previous feelings of disempowerment that still lingered within you, or that were being, projected upon you from outside. So yeah, big major changes. Let's take a look at your Astro Dice. So for group 3, okay, you have, no way, you have the North Node. You got the North Node in the North Node reading. Yeah, you guys, like this is your destiny. This is destiny if I ever saw it. You also have Pisces and the 11th house. So the North Node in Pisces in the 11th house is talking about the development of how you connect and heal and spiritually relate to the world around you, and specifically to your dreams, to your goals, to your sense of fulfillment, and to networks and communities, and how you step into a leadership position in regard to your dreams, your goals, and your relationship to other people, your network and community. So very much career and home life focused here. Pisces is a beautiful energy of healing. That's what I was getting here from the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Wands. So you're doing some pretty major spiritual development and psychological healing. Spirit just told me as well. I got that phrase, psychological healing. So that's part of this. And I think that's why the Hermit is here. It's like the indication of that psychological inquiry that you're, going into through this transit or in this lifetime in general. And then, the North Node, this is just, it's your destiny. I can't put it any plainer than that. You're meant to be this. So get comfortable. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable and developing yourself in new territories, new ways, with larger groups of people. 11th house is networks. So social media could be part of this, being in a position where you're leading or teaching or sharing something where, again, you're visible, you have connections, and it's related in some way to healing. I don't know if that's going to be for everybody, but I'm getting that really strongly from Pisces here. Or the spiritual healing that you do to step into this role is going to create a lot of personal healing for you. And as a result, I think that will touch the lives of others positively too. So it's always going to be a win-win when you're in alignment. And I always say to my clients, or I used to say to my clients, that's how you know you're in alignment, is when it's a win-win situation. So that's what I see for you, group number 3. Big positive changes here. You're letting go of some serious, significant patterns of, distortion from the past, and you're really stepping into a leadership and power position here in your life going forward. So that's what I see for you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Unfortunately, I'm not taking personal readings at this time. I've had a couple of people ask me about that, but if you do want a personal reading from me or for me to pull cards for you, the only way to do that from this point going forward is the live sessions the live readings that I'll be doing here on YouTube, and it is through the members only area. So either the Soul Tribe membership or the Soul Family membership will give you access to the live readings that we're going to be doing. There's one coming up on Saturday, July 22nd at 3 p.m. PST. So if you guys want to jump in for that one, you certainly can. You just have to join the membership. Either tier, like I said, will give you access. And it will also give you access to the additional readings here on the channel, the members only readings, and also discounts and stuff like that from some products on my website. So anyways, yes, thank you guys for being here. I love you, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye.